Ella stood in the village square, tied to a giant tree like meat for Christmas. Her mother sat high on a shining golden throne, smiling proudly. Her brother and sister danced nearby, dressed like royalty. Suddenly, a thunderous voice roared from the sky, "Ella shall be the sacrificial lamb for this family." Ella screamed, "God, I beg. I am not the national cake to be shared." In that moment, she woke up, heart racing, sweat dripping down her face. It was just a dream. She jumped out of bed, grabbed her Bible, and began to pray loudly, "Holy Ghost fire. Any evil plan against me and my destiny, scatter." The sun burned hot that afternoon as little Ella balanced a tray of oranges on her head. Her bare feet danced on the rough, dusty road. She was tired, hungry, and heartbroken. But she didn't stop. Since their father died, Ella became the pillar of her family. Her mother stayed home, while Ella worked hard to feed everyone, her younger brother Charles and her little sister Lisa. At night, she'd lie on the floor with an empty stomach, whispering, "God, please change my story." When she got admitted to university, she thought life would be different. But it got worse. She begged for food, collected old clothes from people, and sometimes slept without eating. One evening, rain soaked her as she walked back from class. Her bag was empty, and so was her pocket. She felt like bad luck. Then, a shiny black car stopped in front of her. The door opened. It was Hilda, her old friend from secondary school. Hilda wore gold earrings, fine hair, and sweet perfume. "Ella?" Hilda gasped. "You look like someone who's been crying." Ella couldn't hold it anymore. She burst into tears right inside the car. She told Hilda everything about hunger, pain, and shame. She even said, "Hilda, I think I'm cursed. Nothing good ever happens to me." Hilda held her hand gently. "No, Ella. You're not cursed. You just need to be smart." "What do you mean?" Ella asked, wiping her tears. Hilda gave a small smile and whispered, "Let me show you a new life. You will never beg again." And right there, Ella's life began to change. Ella followed Hilda into a world she never knew existed. A world of soft beds, expensive perfumes, and shiny cars. Hilda introduced her to rich, powerful men who gave them anything they wanted: money, houses, trips. They were big girls. But Ella was different. She was smart. She didn't only ask for money, she asked for businesses. Soon, she owned a boutique and drove her own car. Her mates wore simple clothes, but Ella wore designers, yet behind all that glitter was darkness. Ella hardly attended lectures. When exams came, she paid in cash or slept with lecturers. For assignments, she ran to Zoey, her old neighbor and a quiet girl who worked hard in school. Zoey helped her study. Though she didn't judge her, Ella sent money home every month. Charles and Lisa wore new clothes. Her mother smiled again. For the first time in years, they lacked nothing. But the more Ella had, the more she wanted. She and Hilda called themselves classic chicks. Only rich men could approach them. They traveled abroad, stayed in 5-star hotels, and lived like queens. One day, Ella drove past her old street in her Benz. Then she saw Zoey, wearing slippers and a plain dress. Ella stopped. "Zoey," she called, smiling. "Ella?" Zoey gasped with joy. "Wow, this car is yours." Ella nodded proudly. "Yes." Zoey laughed and said softly, "God, when will my own blessing come?" Ella smirked, hiding her mockery behind a smile. "Soon, Zoey. Maybe soon." Then she offered Zoey a job at her salon as a cleaner. Zoey paused but answered politely, "I'll think about it." Ella drove off, feeling like a queen. But fate wasn't done writing her story yet. Years passed. Ella and Hilda became more powerful. But one thing was missing: real love. Men wanted their money or their bodies, not their hearts. Ella's mother started pressuring her. "You're not getting younger," she said. "Where's your husband? Your mates are married." Ella lied every time. "Soon, Mama. I have someone." But she had no one. One evening, as Ella sat alone in her living room, Zoey came to her mind. Zoey had always helped her back in school. So Ella picked her phone and called her. "Zoey," she said with a fake sweet voice, "I have a manager position in my salon. Come work for me." But Zoey laughed softly. "Ella, I already work as a manager at Gold Company." Ella's eyes widened. "You? Manager?" "Yes," Zoey replied calmly. "God has been good to me." Ella forced a laugh. "Congratulations," she said. But the moment she ended the call, she called Hilda. "Hilda, guess what? That Zoey girl we used to pity is now a manager." "Manager, oh," Hilda hissed loudly. "Nonsense. We wasted our time on runs and missed lectures. Now she wants to shine." Jealousy grew in Ella's heart. That night, she made a decision. If she couldn't beat Zoey, she would outshine her. She found a young man and paid him to be her contract husband for 1 year. The world would think she got married. In truth, it was a lie wrapped in lace. Hilda did the same. Soon, they both planned fake weddings to show off their perfect lives. But their fake world was about to meet real consequences. When Ella's mother heard about the wedding, she wasn't happy. Instead of celebrating, she frowned. "Ella, I don't want you to get married," she said coldly. Ella was shocked. "Why, Mama?" Her mother folded her arms. "Because if you marry, who will take care of us? Who will send money?" Ella froze. For the first time, she saw the truth. She had become nothing but a money machine to her family. But Mama had other plans. That night, she traveled secretly to a dark shrine to stop the marriage from happening. She poured out her heart to the priest, who gave her charms. She smiled all the way home, believing her plan would work. But Ella went on with the wedding. It was grand and glamorous. She and her contract husband lived like strangers at home but smiled like lovers in public. One day, Mama visited uninvited. She watched carefully. She noticed Ella and the man didn't act like a real couple. She smiled inside. Good, she thought. The marriage is already weak. But she pretended to be kind. "My daughter, don't fight with your husband. Live in peace," she said sweetly. She left the house dancing in her heart, believing her plan was working. But Ella was already tired of being everyone's savior. She didn't know the storm waiting for her was bigger than Mama's charms. Ella's siblings grew lazy. Charles refused to work. Lisa said she wanted a soft life. They believed Ella's money would never end. Ella called a family meeting. "Charles, Lisa, you're adults now. It's time to work and be independent." Charles laughed. "Me? Work? Fine boy like me can't be calling anyone sir or ma." Lisa flipped her hair. "I'm a baby girl. I deserve soft life, not stress." Ella stared at them, heartbroken. "So, I'm the only one meant to suffer?" Tears filled her eyes. She stood up and walked away. When she got home, her contract husband saw her crying. He pulled her close and whispered, "You've given them everything. But they don't love you, they love your pocket. You need to give them space." His words hit her like thunder. That night, Ella decided to step back. She reduced their allowances. Mama wasn't happy. She called Ella. "Give Charles money for an apartment. He's 30 now. He can't stay with me anymore." Ella's voice was cold. "No. He should learn a skill. No more free money." The next day, Mama stormed Ella's house. "Since you married, you abandoned your family," she cried, trying to guilt-trip her. Ella stood firm. "Mama, enough is enough." Her husband stood beside her, holding her hand. For the first time, Ella didn't feel alone. Days turned into weeks. Something unexpected happened. Ella and her contract husband started talking more. He advised her on business, investments, and how to protect herself. He didn't ask for money. He didn't fake love. He just cared. Slowly, Ella's heart softened. The fake marriage started to feel real. Meanwhile, Hilda's fake marriage turned into a nightmare. Her husband blackmailed her every week. "If you don't send me money," he whispered darkly, "I'll tell everyone this marriage is fake." Hilda lived in fear. She gave him everything, but he kept asking for more. Until one day, he demanded a huge amount. She refused. The man's smile was evil. He began to plan something dangerous. But Hilda was no fool. Hilda's fake husband didn't know she had planted cameras around the house. One night, she watched on her phone as he mixed poison into her drink. Her heart pounded fast. She tiptoed behind him, grabbed the glass, and smashed it on the floor. "Get out of my house," she screamed. The man froze. She called security and threw him out. The fake marriage was over. Meanwhile, Ella's life began to change for the better. Her contract husband became her true partner. He helped her build her businesses, and she learned how to set boundaries. She stopped being everyone's sacrificial lamb. Her siblings had to face reality. Mama's charms no longer worked. One day, as Ella stood in front of her salon, she felt the cool wind touch her face. For the first time in years, she felt free. The late afternoon sun cast a golden glow over the busy street as Zoey slowly pulled up in front of Ella's beauty salon. She parked her sleek car neatly by the roadside, switched off the engine, and sat for a brief moment, inhaling deeply. It had been years since she last saw Ella and Hilda. A small, nervous smile crept across her face as she reached for the cream-colored envelope on the passenger seat, her wedding invitation. With a graceful swing, Zoey stepped out of the car. Her heels clicked softly against the pavement as she made her way toward the familiar glass door. The moment she pushed it open, the scent of hair oils and body spray filled her nose, instantly bringing back old memories. Inside, Ella stood behind a chair, curling a customer's hair, while Hilda was folding freshly washed towels. Their heads lifted almost at the same time. "Zoey!" Ella exclaimed, dropping everything without a hint of pride or hesitation. She rushed forward and wrapped Zoey in a warm, tight hug. Tears welled in her eyes as if the embrace held years of distance, mistakes, and unspoken words. Hilda quickly joined in, her voice breaking with emotion as she cried softly, "Zoey, is this really you?" Zoey smiled warmly, hugging both of them. "Yes, it's me," she said softly, looking at Ella with admiration. Ella looked different now, more refined, calmer, and there was a glow about her that came with maturity. Marriage had changed her, Zoey could tell. But when Zoey's eyes shifted to Hilda, she saw something else, a weight behind those tears. A pain that words hadn't yet spoken. Zoey slowly reached into her handbag and brought out the cream-colored invitation card. "This is for both of you," she said, handing it over. "I'm getting married, and I want you there." Ella covered her mouth, tears spilling freely as she whispered, "Zoey, you deserve it." Zoey then turned fully to Hilda, gently cupping her hands. "My dear," she said in a calm, tender voice, "whatever it is that's making you cry this way, please stop. Everything will be fine. I mean it. God is not done with you yet." Hilda broke down completely then, sobbing openly. The weight of her regrets spilled out like a river. Between shaky breaths, She began to talk. I chased everything that glittered, she confessed. I thought money was everything. I turned away good men, men who loved me, because they didn't have what I wanted. I called them weaklings. I thought I was on top of the world. But now, her voice cracked. Now I'm alone, empty, and ashamed. I gave myself to the wrong people. I threw away the right ones. Ella, standing close, squeezed Hilda's hand, tears streaming down her face as well. We were foolish, Zoey. We wasted so many years, she admitted. When you chose a different path, we mocked you. But look at you now. You're shining. You're happy. You're blessed. The three of them stood together in that little salon, no longer girls chasing fantasies but women facing their truths. Hilda wiped her tears with trembling fingers and said, "From today, I'm done with that life. No more prostitution. I'll rebuild myself, even if it takes time. I'll trust God to give me the man He prepared for me. I want to be a better woman." Ella nodded with a soft sob. "Me too," she whispered. "I've asked God for mercy every day. And I'll keep asking. We can't change the past, but we can change what comes next." Zoey smiled through glistening eyes. She held both their hands tightly and said, "Yes, you can. God is merciful. This is not the end for any of you. It's the beginning of something new." In that moment, the salon that once echoed with gossip and vanity was filled with something different: hope, forgiveness, and a promise of new beginnings. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe to my YouTube channel, Shishi Fairytales, to get more interesting stories weekly.